What's up? What's up? What's up? Get my camera set. See? I gotta buy a new camera holder. It's almost out of commission. Alright, are we gonna hold? So I bought this camera holder that goes onto my tripod, and this thing, I don't really know that it wants to hold very bad. Okay. Alright. Waiting for some people to jump on here. Guys, happy Friday. Glad you're here. I got a really cool special treat for you today, where I'm going to talk about adding value to your marketplace, which in my opinion is the most important thing about business. Without being able to add value to a marketplace, we have no business, and in fact, we have no, we're trading our value for currency, and that's what adding value to the marketplace is all about. So I'm going to check my phone, make sure it's not going to pop out again. Allow a couple people to jump on. So while you come on, please feel free to like this. Feel free to comment if you would. Comment on how many deals you've done and your experience level up to this point. That helps me know what kind of information I need to provide to you. If we have mostly super experienced investors coming on, I need to be able to add the value to that. If we have more so new people coming on that've only done a deal or two, I need to know that so I can add the value to you and know what your struggles are. All right, so I'm gonna let this get caught up a little bit while we get a couple people to jump on here. I believe this is our 4th week of doing free Friday coaching. So I just wanted to thank you for jumping on. When you do, I like to be able to answer your questions. I feel it's valuable for me to be able to know what you're struggling with and what your obstacles are, so I know how to help you in return. All right, so it's getting to be a couple minutes past 11. All right, so it's kind of cool. I can speak here, watch myself on the other computer. So, all right, a couple minutes past 11. Let's jump on. Don't want to hold you up. So let's talk about value and adding value to the marketplace. So I think it was T. Harv Eker that I heard the first time I say this. I know I've heard Tony Robbins say it, as well as many others. But what we get paid is a direct reflection to the value that we add to the marketplace. And that's it. That's all. So if you're not making as much money as you want, it comes down to nothing other than you're not adding enough value to the marketplace. All right? If you're making a ton of money, it's because you're adding a ton of value. Bottom line, it's like you don't even have to think of it any harder than that. So, when I'm working with a coaching client, what I do first of all is I want to figure out what do they want, out of their income. What do they want out of their business? And from there, we break it apart and we strategize and say, okay, based off of that, here's what it's going to take for you to reach that goal. So if we want a goal of making, let's say 500,000, but we don't really want to work very hard at it. We're not putting a ton of marketing. We're not putting a ton of value into the marketplace. It's almost impossible for that to happen. Whereas if we're adding tons and tons and tons of value constantly, we will watch our income just rise on its own because people are catching on to that, and they are going to reimburse you with money to repay you for the value that you provide to them. All right, so really easy philosophy to understand. So I want to put it in perspective of real estate and what a person can expect based off the value that they provide and the different amounts of value that are provided from the different task or the different niche that you're in. So let's say, let me stop for a second. Value is looked at from a couple different things. One, it's looked at from volume. All right, how much of it are you providing, and what quality are you providing? So volume and quality. All right, so if we look at it from a perspective of I go out and do a wholesale deal. An average wholesale deal might be $3,000 up to $10,000. Well, I'm going to get paid that amount of money based off of the value that I provided to both the seller of the property as well as the buyer of the property. But that value to that buyer is not going to be near as valuable as, let's say, a house that a retail buyer is going to buy. So if I fix and flip a house, then that value to that end buyer is going to be far more valuable because that's the place that they're going to live in, and that's the place that they're going to call home. So it's much more valuable to them. All right, and that's why we get paid more off of a fix and flip than we do a wholesale. Whereas new construction, we might get paid even more because we're providing even more value to the marketplace based off of taking this piece of land and making it into a livable house, and sometimes a person's dream home. All right, we got some people jumping on. If you would, please go ahead and enter your information. Just let me know, if you're here, like it, feel free to comment. And as always, if you would, just enter your information of how many deals you've done. If you're brand new, go ahead and mention that. It helps me know how to best serve you. All right, so, then we start to look at it from a perspective of, how much value am I providing to the market in terms of quantity. So if I do a few wholesale deals a year, all right, so if I do a few wholesale deals a year, I might make, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 or so, right? But if I'm doing several wholesale deals a month, naturally, I'm going to make much more than that because I'm providing more value to the marketplace. So if you're going to be like, let's say, wholesaling, you need to look in perspective of how many problems am I solving in my market, both for my buyers as well as for the sellers. Okay, if I'm only going to be willing to make MLS offers, if I'm only going to be willing to look at Craigslist, if I'm only going to be willing to look at some for sale by owners, but I'm not willing to market, to the marketplace, I'm not willing to spend any money, I'm limiting my value that I'm providing, right? Because I'm not reaching enough people. Whereas on the flip side, if I say, there's 20,000 people in this market with a house at a certain price and below, I have 20,000 people to work with, and I want to be able to touch all of them in some way or another. Well, by me getting a hold of them and through direct mail and through other sources and constantly getting in front of them, I'm going to provide way more value than if I'm doing a few deals because I'm potentially solving many, many, many more problems and thus getting paid more. All right? And if we look at it from a perspective of new construction, if I'm going to build 20 houses a year, whereas the previous year I built 4, let's say, I'm providing far more value to the market and therefore I'm getting paid for it. All right? So that's all we have to think about if we're not getting to the point of making what we want to make. We have to stop and think, am I really providing the value to the marketplace that I need to in order to make what I want to make? The answer is usually no. We're not. So we have to find out, how can I add more value? Is it going to be through networking? Is it going to be through problem solving? Is it going to be working with buyers? Is it going to be working with sellers? How can I add that value that other people can benefit from my efforts? All right. If we can figure out how to solve that problem, then it opens up everything else. All right, guys, feel free to throw out any questions. I'd love to answer them. We're on the subject of, hi Rochelle, my wife just joined. So we're on the subject of adding value to the market. So if you're just joining, I appreciate it. Like I said, adding value, and this goes for any industry. It doesn't matter if it's real estate, sales, retail, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything comes down to the amount of value that you provide to the marketplace. If you're not out adding enough value, you are not going to get paid accordingly. All right? Really simple philosophy. So what that means is we need to be, I love getting to see you during the day and learning from you. All right, thanks, hon. So what that means, guys, we need to be out pushing the limits and working with others to figure out how we can solve their problems and make their life easier. And with doing that, we're adding value to the marketplace. All right? So it's it doesn't have to be explained that much because it's such a simple philosophy. The problem is that we get so caught up in our day-to-day lives of putting out fires and solving our own problems that we forget to look outside of ourselves and realize that all these other people in the market are struggling in some way, somehow, and they need a solution. If we can be the one in front of them providing the answers, then we get paid, right? It's so easy. So all we have to do, guys, is look at ourselves and say, okay, what am I wanting out of this? And what does my marketplace need? What do the people around me need? How can I reach them? How can I get in front of them and solve their problems? Some of that's just going to have to be grinding it out and making calls and emails and getting in front of them. Some of that's going to have to be marketing. Some of that's going to have to be networking. But the point is that we have to get in front of people. We have to get in front of them, and we have to find out how can we solve your problem. When we can figure out how to solve the problems and we can put the solution in place and we can answer it through value, we get paid. All right? So this is really an equation you could put together to figure out how much you want to make. How many people do I need to serve? How much value do I need to provide to them in order to make X? All right? So it gets to be a fun equation, really, because we can almost infinitely scale it based off of that equation. And we just have to realize, okay, it's going to take a certain amount of effort. It's going to take a certain amount of effort. It's going to take a certain amount of work, a certain amount of energy to make that happen. But there is no limit because I know that the marketplace needs solutions, right? It needs answers. So if I can be the one to provide those answers, then I'm going to get paid. All right? If you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them down. I'd love to answer those for you. We are about 10 minutes in. I usually like to keep these at about 15 minutes or less. So I think this is our fourth Facebook Live. And, so far, getting some good questions and being able to answer those. So I want to keep that up. And more than anything, I just want to serve you and figure out how I can answer your questions and how I can help make you better and more skilled in real estate so you can go out and make more money. All right? So if we don't have any questions pouring in, I'm going to hop off. Otherwise, I want to be able to answer those questions so that we can all get on with our days. But more than anything, guys, I appreciate you being on here. This topic was all about adding value to the market. And you guys can feel free to continue to comment on the video afterwards. But just constantly ask yourself, am I adding enough value? And when we can ask ourselves that and be honest, most of the time, the answer is going to be no, that we're not. We're not adding enough value to enough people's lives. The more people we touch, the more people we add value to, the more we get paid. All right, because people pay for services, people pay for answers, people pay for solutions, and the more that we can answer, the more we make. All right, so your job is to get in front of more people, figure out how to help them, how to solve their solutions. In real estate, that might mean becoming a master of rehabbing and figuring out how to fix people's houses up for other investors, because maybe they don't have the time. Maybe your specialty is going to be in raising money, and you become a master of raising money and you raise millions, and then you can become basically the lender to a lot of people that are needing funds. You can become the lender for them, and it doesn't have to be your money. Maybe your specialty is going to be acquiring deals and finding rock bottom deals that everybody needs in order to stay in business. So you have to figure out what your specialty is and go after that, and then figure out who your audience is going to be and serve them with your specialty. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off. We're about 15 minutes in. Appreciate you joining, and feel free to ask any questions. I will answer them in the comment section below. Feel free to share this, and we'll see you guys later.